violin, it may be the world's most widely recognized fusion of form and function. Its elements and curves are elegant to behold, yet it's a tool capable of incredible musical beauty, expression, and power. Among the violin's elements are its 4 pegs, integral to the appearance of the instrument, providing a vital primary function to tune the instrument. Of course, we also know that the wooden peg, or friction peg, can have issues in terms of how easily or reliably it does its job. Getting in tune and staying there can at times be a source of frustration for the player. This is especially true as the pegs are subjected to wear, and is always an issue as humidity changes, going from one environment to another or with the change of seasons. What if you could tune a violin or viola or cello without worrying about the peg slipping or sticking? What if you could tune every string using the peg alone, with no fine tuner, with complete precision and confidence? What if it was so easy that a youngster could learn to tune and do so with only a youngster's strength and coordination? This is the story behind something that is both old and new, of a testament to both tradition and innovation, and above all, of a welcome revolution for the violin, viola, and cello. Consider for a moment the guitar or the string bass. In modern times, no one is surprised to find either of these string instruments easy to tune, and no one expects either one to spontaneously slip out of tune under any conditions. The reason is, for generations, both instruments have had a solution to the tuning problem: a geared mechanism. So why not the violin, viola, or cello? Well, in fact, some geared mechanisms have been tried, but none retained the time-honored appearance of the peg. Recently, though, the technology was developed to make precision helical gear components small enough and precise enough that they could be incorporated into a mechanism with the familiar form of the classical peg. This engineering achievement has enabled the creation of a mechanism that meets 3 crucial requirements. 1. To be essentially the same size, shape, weight, and taper of a conventional peg. 2. To have installation be consistent with the conventional peg so that it would in no way harm the instrument. 3. To provide fast, easy, accurate, and stable tuning.
The first time I tried a violin with the perfection pegs, I was amazed. You can tune that violin in about 5 seconds. The pegs are so easy to turn. All you do is you're just turning. You're not concentrating on pushing a peg in and, going too far or something. You can just pluck it and, just turn it. That's all you do. It's just so easy.
The first time I used the perfection pegs, it was incredible. I automatically pushed in because that's what I'm used to doing. And then I realized I didn't have to push in at all. It just stayed automatically, and it was like magic.
We like to call it a classical innovation because it respects the tradition of the violin while offering a variety of meaningful advantages. The perfection peg. Here are some of the features and benefits. For installation, we use the same tools for the perfection peg as for the wooden one. This means that there are no oversized or improperly shaped holes in the instrument's peg box. It also means that perfection pegs can always be replaced with conventional wooden pegs. Since it retains the classical shape of the peg, the perfection peg maintains the visual integrity of the instrument. Perfection's helical gear design yields a mechanism that will neither stick nor spontaneously slip in the way friction pegs can. The tiny gears are made of this extraordinarily strong 8650 through-hardened steel alloy. Thanks to the 4-to-1 gear ratio, a small turn of the head results in an ultra-small rotation of the peg shaft. This means that each string can be tuned with great precision and confidence. An important benefit of the perfection peg's precision is that according to the player's preference, fine tuners can be eliminated from the tailpiece. Since the perfection peg is a sealed, lubricated mechanism, most of the care and maintenance issues normally associated with pegs and tuners are a thing of the past. The Perfection Peg offers a set of tremendous benefits for any player, but in a string education setting, the benefits are even more considerable.
You can't teach a child to play with good intonation unless you have a well-tuned instrument.
In my 6th grade orchestra, I have 47 students, and I also have another teacher in there that helps, and we team teach. And there's 2 lines, and we take approximately probably 12 or 13 minutes, all of that, to get tuned. Sometimes in class you'll get a couple of instruments, at least one, that is always a problem instrument. Maybe the pegs won't hold, or it's just not set up right.
We have much larger groups, and tuning has become a real problem. With every class, you've got kids with very poor instruments. Pegs that are not fitted properly at all are so poor that they're almost untunable. Some of those pegs are so hard to turn, I'll have to ask one of the big guys, can you loosen this for me?
Imagine not needing to handle and tune every peg for every student every day. Imagine students learning to tune early on because they can. Imagine spending only a few moments at the beginning of class for tuning, creating more time for instruction, more time for learning to play.
If I didn't have to spend so much time tuning, and I could increase my teaching time by, say, 30 to 40%, I think student progress would increase exponentially.
If the student learns how to tune the instrument at an earlier age with success, that means there would be more learning time in the classroom. There would be more teacher-student contact and actually learning how to play the instrument.
With elementary level students, I think within the first half of the year that a student could actually learn how to tune with the Perfection Pegs.
Perfection Pegs can make the student experience less frustrating, more satisfying, and more rewarding. They, in fact, make the violin a more friendly instrument to learn and play.
They're reliable, they're easy to use.
I like the way that the Perfection Pegs look on the instrument, and I also like the fact that you do not need the fine tuners anymore.
Practicing would be so much more fun because it would sound like it's supposed to sound.
Using the Perfection Peg is just wonderful, and I think all teachers, if you had the opportunity to try these pegs, would just love them and would go that direction and use the Perfection Peg.
I think if the music dealers were aware of the many benefits of the Perfection Pegs, number 1 for the kids, number 2 for the teachers, and number 3, frankly, their business, I don't think they would hesitate to have these instruments available in their stores for the schools in their area.
Proper, stable tuning is one of the 4 essentials of the stringed instrument. That is why Knilling and Knilling string instrument retailers nationwide are proud to bring you the patented Perfection Planetary Peg, a classical innovation beneficial for the instrument, for the student, and for the player. We thank you.
When I first heard about the instruments with the Perfection Pegs, I was thinking back about the old tension pegs and thinking about how difficult those were to use and how reliable they were. And I remember always telling students, don't ever get a violin with a tension peg. And these pegs are nothing like that.
The tension pegs of the past are really hard to deal with, and I'm so glad that there's Perfection Pegs now.
When I have a concert, and maybe I'll have 50 students in a concert at the elementary level, I line up all the instruments. I have to open the case, pick up the violin, and tune every violin before the concert and before big group rehearsals, so that I don't have to waste any time teaching.
In the wintertime, especially, I find that using those fine tuners, my hands are always cracked up on the fingertips because I have to fine tune the instruments, and those fine tuners are really hard to move sometimes, and they're very rough.
My thumb from tuning the instruments became inflamed, and it hurt me for about 5 years.
In 4th and 5th grade, if the student comes in with their peg and it's loose, especially in 4th grade, they come in panic-stricken because it's like, oh my gosh, you know, my peg, my string, it's hanging. And I'm like, oh, don't worry, it's okay, it just slipped, I can fix it, and I do. It's just frustrating though, if they go home to practice, they open their case and their string is loose because they have no recourse, they don't know how to fix it. And so they have to wait 2 days until they see me again because I only see them twice a week. I like the way that the perfection pegs look on the instrument, and I also like the fact that you do not need the fine tuners anymore.
If the instrument's in tune, you're going to have a great concert.